The lighting's coming up from here. It might be my shirt. I don't know. Hi, this is Laurie.
This is Peter.
And we're with Action Heroes LA with the latest review of
Maurice.
Otherwise known as Chevalier.
Yes.
This is a 2020, it says 2022 movie. It just came out just this, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago or just recently.
Yes.
And this is a movie when I saw the trailer to it, I was excited and worried because it is about a black composer around the era of Mozart. He's usually known as the Black Mozart, although he was older than Mozart. Mm-hmm. And there's Mozart might have copped a few things from his repertoire. But his name, what was it? Joseph Bologne de Chevalier de Saint George. Georges. Should I do my full-on French accents?
Well, speaking of full-on French accents,
Joseph
the way you spell Chevalier, why don't they, if they're not going to
pronounce the R.
So then get rid of the R.
And then you don't pronounce the E. You don't pronounce the last letter in French. I don't know why. Usually.
Okay, never mind.
I don't know if that's it. I got to think of... My French is very rusty. I did take...
Okay.
Yeah, I did take French in high school. I like to say I took 3 years of French 1.
The screen.
The screen. And excuse any noise, our house is being worked on. But anyway, this is about the black composer.
The screen.
The screen. Oh, what?
Okay.
That's it.
You got to put it on loop.
It's looping, isn't it?
Okay.
It's still playing, isn't it?
Okay.
Does it go black? Once you go black, you never go black. Which is what this movie is about. No,
yes.
Not really. But, so this focuses on the composer's life. He was a illegitimate son of a French, what do they call those guys?
Coachman.
Coachman? No. He had a plantation owner on the island of Guadeloupe, and he had a child with his slave.
I thought it was Guadeloupe.
Which is how we got here. But not on Guadeloupe, but in Louisiana. But he sent the son off to France to be educated.
Yes, he was going to be a walsman.
A walsman?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, fencing.
Yeah, he taught him. He sent him to the most prestigious school where he became the greatest fencer in France.
Right.
But he was also musically talented. He got all kinds of. He didn't just learn fencing there. They learned all math, literature, all the languages, everything. He was fully educated, and became a great fencer.
Yeah, they gave him a guitar to sharpen his
sword with. But he also became an incredible violinist.
Yeah, one of them things.
Violinist. So, and it's a true story. So about a year ago, I heard about something about the Black Mozart. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? There was a composer during Mozart's era who was black. I gotta find out more about this. So I did kind of a deep dive and watched several YouTube documentaries to find out who this person was. So when I saw the trailer for this, I think we saw the trailer for this one of the last times we went to the movie, maybe, and I was like, oh wow, they're doing a movie about him. But at the same time, the trailer was like,
Well, see, I thought at first, I thought the trailer was just great.
Okay.
I thought the movie was very interesting.
Okay.
And it turned out to be a lot of Hollywood.
It is a lot of Hollywood. That's what the trailer kind of gave me. I was like, okay, I'm hopeful, but it looks very Hollywood, but I'm going to see this anyway because I wanted to see about this person. This person should get their own movie. There should be known wider to the world. So, and this is one way to do it. So when we saw I saw it was coming out. It's been the one movie this year that I've been like, oh, I finally feel like I want to go to the theater and see something, and we did. and,
Yes, we did.
and what did you think? What did you think of Chevalier?
Well, at first I kept thinking, how interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it never let me really dive into the movie
Okay.
or get caught up into the movie because I kept wondering, wow, did Hollywood do that?
Oh, did you wonder that? Because you came out of
Yes.
the movie, you were very impressed with.
No,
What the,
no, I was impressed with it, but I thought
Mm-hmm.
it could be so much more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it seemed like every time they were telling a reason or giving a statement or even following the so-called life,
Mm-hmm.
then they would go, oh, let's stop and go someplace else.
Yeah.
And you finish it.
Yeah.
Give me something to grab onto.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mentioned this. It's a movie. I know the audience clapped. The
Yes.
audience very much enjoyed it. I was having some trouble with it because I knew a little bit going in who he was and some of his life story that it just didn't, like you said, it didn't dive deep enough into his life and who he was for me. It's a very kind of superficial, a kind of a Cliff Notes version of his life story.
Yes.
And if you don't know anything about him, that's fine, and it'll work for you that first time watching through. You're like, oh, I've never heard of this. Oh my gosh! And I think, and actually, one movie I want to compare it to is the movie Devotion, which
Yes.
I really enjoyed last year.
Yes.
That was a movie that I thought that really hit me. I really enjoyed that movie, but I also thought at the same time, if I had known this guy's story ahead of time, I don't know if I would have enjoyed that movie as much. Like, I could tell it was quality filmmaking, but it really didn't dive into, I think, his story, or it didn't present his story deeply enough to really engage me. It just happened to be such a, gripping story on its own if you didn't know about it. So
Right.
anyway, and this was the same thing to me. Well, I was like, okay, I know how this one ends. I know. So you got to give me something, while I'm along
Right.
for the ride. And
Right.
it really is not interested in getting too deep. In fact, it goes so far as it makes up this sort of romance, this kind of tragic romance that, not that I'm an expert on him, but of all the things I have watched about him, even after the movie, nobody mentions that he was a ladies' man, they mentioned, but they didn't say he had some like great love and that he had a child that something tragic happened to, and they used that to provide drama for this movie
Yes.
rather than,
Well, the thing is, for me, they kept going down the road to whereas, well, if only we go a half a mile more, we'll finish this road.
yeah.
And they kept stopping a half a mile
They were
too
stopped too
soon
short.
and then go to the next thing.
It was like, it reminds me, you plan a trip somewhere and you travel, you're like, this is great, we're getting there. You get there, like, all right, let's go home.
Yeah. and
It
it's
just kind of like, once you get there, it's like, all right, let's go. It gets there and then it doesn't stay and kind of revel. And it's like, all right, this is what we were working up to.
Right.
We spent all this time to get to this point. Let's look around and enjoy and live in it for a while.
Right.
It has no interest in doing that. It's
We-
like, all right,
yeah.
move on to the next spot.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, you
We
know why?
never got to live
Because
into it.
Poppy, our grandfather, used to
Yes.
do that. He would
Yes.
he would drive all the way 6 to 8 hours to San Francisco. As soon as he got there, he's like, "All right, let's go home."
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
We're here in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Now
let's go. Yeah, all right, we got here. And this is kind of what this movie does with the actual, like, true points of his life, rather than, like, dramatizing those in any kind of quality way. It's just like, all right, we get there. All right, that's that. We got to that point. Let's move on to the next one. And like, wait a minute, you know?
Yes.
So I was a little disappointed in this. It's very much, this is a Searchlight movie, which is what 20th Century Fox is now called. And what we know now is Disney owns 20th Century Fox. So this feels very much like a Disney movie and what they've been doing a lot lately. And particularly, and another movie I'll compare this to is their Mulan movie, which I enjoyed, but it's very much, it doesn't dive too deep into anything and stuff. So
it doesn't want to get controversial.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it just. I mean, the things it could have done. It doesn't take advantage of certain situations. It doesn't want to explore the psychology of these people.
Exactly.
Even if you don't really know what truth really happened, you can play with like, okay, this is the situation. How would a person react to this?
Yes, because even one of the punishments that I thought was, in one way, brilliant of him to think of that punishment, and then it was like, wow, that takes care of everything, because this person has to deal with that the rest of his life. And then
I'm trying to think of what part you're talking about.
The breaking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then, okay.
Yeah, well, it's something that ultimately didn't happen to him. But I wonder if it was a threat.
It would have been extremely interesting.
Yeah.
For him to have thought of that punishment and to have carried it out, and then the other person to have had to live with it. Oh, that
would have been, yeah. But since it didn't happen to him, okay. It ultimately didn't happen to him. So, I mean, I've been talking a lot. So, any other thoughts you have?
You know what? You know who could have played the general a lot better?
What general?
That general, or the leader of the, more or less you would call it the Secret Service, the way he had put it. Because he has to.
Forgotten this movie already.
he has to keep security from those outside the wall, but he has to keep security from those inside the wall.
Okay.
For which, for in the beginning, for the Queen, who I knew, Chevalier had tied his star to, and who was doomed.
Well, he didn't know that.
Look, just because he didn't go to history.
He didn't go to history.
I went to history class. I knew.
Oh, you knew. He lived it. Of course he didn't know. Unless he was
right.
psychic. He was, yeah. So anyway, yeah, he became, he was a noted fencer. He was an excellent violinist. There's a scene what threw me off was the opening scene in this movie, where they open on Mozart having a concert.
Yeah.
And Chevalier comes up and challenges him to a violin duel. And they did go to school together. It is true that they were schooled together, but they don't know, not for very long. And apparently they did have, I think, concerts together. But it just, the way it plays out in a very Hollywood way, which is like, okay, it's going to be this type of movie for me. And I was also bugged by the way the actor playing Chevalier held the violin. And I will take it back, because I said it doesn't look like he's not a musician. He doesn't play the violin. He did take lessons when he was younger. I saw an interview with him. He said he took violin when he was a kid, but then he holds it like a violin, like he doesn't.
Yeah, but you know,
When I get bugged by musicians when people play musicians in film, and I can tell when they're not. You should look. Instrument look should look natural, like it's part of your body. If you're a musician, because that's how you feel. You feel bond to it, and I can tell when somebody just does not feel a bond to an instrument. I was like, that's not a musician.
well, to me,
So that distracts me. Yeah.
when he stepped in, you're gonna hate this. I was distracted before you were.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Why?
because it was like the devil coming to.
The devil comes to Georgia. Oh my gosh, what was that band that did The Devil Comes Down to Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that song from the 80s, I think it was a country
Yeah.
song.
As soon as I saw it, I looked and I go,
like, oh. Which is a good point. It's a very Hollywood thing to do. It's the way it's staged, and the way this whole movie is staged it's like kind of the cheapest, most
I think
predictable Hollywood.
Whoever either got the script together or who put it together was like, dun dun dun. And was like, okay.
Charlie Daniels Band. That's what what comes out of the Georgia. I had to remember that. Yeah.
And I had to get that out of my mind to watch the beginning. And the whole time I was watching it, I was just waiting for him to go,
it was after seeing this movie, I went back and watched some more videos about his real life, and he was a ladies' man. He was quite an athlete and stuff like that. And
well, what I saw, he was quite an athlete with the women.
Yeah, he was very much. He was knew how to dress. I mean, if Prince was alive. In fact, I would have taken from Prince if, the actor. It would have made me the obvious choice, but Jesus Christ, it's right there. He's right there. If anybody he sounds like he would have been a Prince-like character in that.
Yes.
In that era, yes. And so that would have been a fun thing to pursue.
The clothing would have been correct too.
The clothing would have been correct. Maybe that's what Prince was doing. He knew about this guy a long time ago.
Yeah. Except the bell bottoms, no.
Oh no! Anyway, or the assless, the lacy ass pants. Oh no, maybe that would have worked. But anyway.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, unfortunately I thought this movie did hit kind of the major points of his life, the things that did happen to him, but it seemed more interested in paying attention to this romance that questionable whether it happened. I'd have to read a book to hear, but apparently I've never heard of any great love. He had lots of ladies and they loved him too. And that's one of the things. Yes, he did experience racism and prejudice in France, but he also won them over with his talent, his good looks, his charm, and that would have been a more interesting movie to watch, I think.
Yes.
To see how it would. And I'm kind of getting to this point. It's like we look too much as the stuff that's done wrong to us, and instead of how. When the humanity is recognized, and life and the world gets to progress,
right?
And so I don't know. It's a controversial thing to say, I would think. But,
yes.
Maybe we focus a little too much on that. But there are people in the world. It's like I have this prejudice, but I see this amazing person that. It's helping me to see past that and to wow, I'm wrong about that.
Yes.
So, but this isn't the movie to do it. And
No,
And this is just my own side pet peeve, I think.
I think it was a good idea for a movie.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it was executed as well as it could have been done.
Ginger has to say hi. Hi, y'all. Hello. Ginger's here. Hi, Ginger. Yeah, I just think this movie it's too by the numbers. It's kind of, why anybody who makes a movie about a classical musician or any musician, please watch Amadeus. There was another movie I forgot we reviewed that was like, why didn't they watch Amadeus before this?
Yes.
Because of when it was about two people going at it, kind of challenging each other. I mean, it's the movie. Not that you have to copy. Hold on, James, we're coming. I'm almost done. She said, "All right." So yeah, not that it's the anyone should copy off it, but it's a really great movie in its depictions and how to dramatize things, and particularly like the classical world. So, although I should watch the movie Tar, because that's another classical music movie that I hear is very good. But anyway, so Ginger's telling us to wrap it up. So, you had any final words on Chevalier?
I think a lot of people will actually like it.
I think so.
I didn't. I kind of liked it, and I went with it, but still they didn't go deep enough.
No, they didn't go deep enough. I would recommend watch this if you don't know anything about the Joseph Bologne Chevalier de Saint George. But then go and find some videos. There's a lecture a guy does at the I think the University of Pennsylvania about him that's excellent, and gives you more insight into his life and his relationship with Mozart and all his talents and things. But yeah, dig a little deeper into his life and find out more about him. But it's currently in movie theaters. It'll probably be on streaming soon because it seems to be a limited release. They're just putting it kind of like in the black neighborhoods, it seems like. And so, and the phone is ringing too. So we are out.
We're out.
Until next time, you guys. Who is it?